Hi, I will now show you how to set up results of Model Gateway so that Model Gateway can read predictions generated by result. So we have created two workflows, one that generates two properties, the second one with three properties. We'll open one of them. And now the two items that were added to the workflow are the report item, where we define that we export the three properties generated by the model, and we export them into the file named concentrations.txt that is located in the archive folder. Another important thing is to check those two checkboxes on the bottom, the clear previous content and the add header line. That indicates that every prediction a new file will be created. The second item is the archive data, where we archive the spectrum created. We archive it in SPA format, and we define into which folder, which subfolder the spectrum is going to be written. In this case, channel 003. Every different sample should be saved into a different subfolder. So if we are running online, each probe should go to a different folder. If we are running in lab, then the same sample should always go to the same folder. So that's it. We have the two files, two workflow files, and I will test one of them to see what's happening, which data is being saved. Okay, so I will select the three properties file and let it run. Any value. Now let's look at the archive folder. When the scan is complete, we have a new channel 003 folder with the SPA file and a concentrations file on the archive folder. The concentrations file looks like that. The first line has the name of the properties, the three of them, and the second line has their matching values. So I will close the result operation and I will leave this file open. We will need it in a second. So the next thing is to configure the model gateway. This is a clean installation. I'm running it for the first time, and the first question I'm being asked is which analyzer we're going to use. I'll select the Antares. As we set in the workflow, it's going to be the SPA file extension, and I will point to the folder where the results save the spectrum, the root of all the channels. I can validate to make sure that it is pointing to the right place, and that's it. The second question is always asked on the first run. We need to configure the DCS interface. I will just go ahead and define it as Modbus slave. It is irrelevant for what we are doing now. Okay, so model gateway is running and configured. I have to define one more thing. I will go to the settings form and read prediction from analyzer. I need to use this option to point to the concentrations file. That's where software will read its predictions from. Okay, so I'll save it, and we're almost ready. Now we can define the properties that will be created by result. So I will define the analysis from here, and I'm going to add three properties for the first workflow and two for the second one. So the name of the property is important. That's how Model Gateway will find out the prediction in the file. So I will just copy them from here, and I will create an entry for each one of them. Now the second one with the two properties has the same predicted values, so I can take it from here. The only thing it doesn't have is the ethanol percentage. Okay, so I created 5 properties. 3 of them are coming from channel 3, as we saw earlier. So we'll set it correctly. The other two, you will see soon, are coming from channel 2, channel 002. So we'll define it here. The last thing I need to define for each one is that the prediction is not actually running any model, but it only reads Antares predictions. This is an option that will be available only when using a license that supports the Antares analyzer. Okay, so we set up the names, the source probe or channel, which model is going to be used. The rest of the parameters are just Modbus registers, as we said earlier, and they're irrelevant for now. That's the only thing we need to define. I will save it. And now we have 5 new parameters showing up here on the grid. And that's it. I will set the model gateway to be online and we are done. Once a spectrum is being written to one of the source folders, it will be automatically loaded to model gateway. So I'm running the result operation again. I will select the 2 properties workflow and run it. Let's switch back to model gateway that has no data at the moment. Everything is unknown. And it will soon load the first 2 properties. Okay, so we see 97.5 and 1.42 were loaded from the analyzer. If I click on it, I see no data because only 1 data point was created. We need at least 2 in order to show a graph. So I will just run it again. And you can see the timestamp changing here at the moment that we load the new data, from 44 seconds to 15 now. If I click on it, we have a graph with the first 2 points. Clicking on each one of them will show the spectrum. I will do the same for the second channel. Now I will choose the 3 properties and let it run. Going back to model gateway, you will soon see that the first 3 lines also have the predictions created by the result software. Okay, so we have the numbers. We can see that 49.41, 97.5 and 1.42, and also the names are matching. Again, let's run it one more time. And now we will see that the new timestamp is being updated when we load the new data. There we go. Now we also have 2 points for the second one. We can also look here on the spectral viewer. So we see that we have data from probe 2 and from probe 3. Of course, all of them are the same because that's simulated data. So everything is in the database. Clicking on each one of them will show its prediction, no M distance, because it wasn't loaded. And that's it.